baby chicken.
All right, so I've been wanting to give you like this great garden tour, but then stuff keeps happening. Mother Nature has been real tricky this year. Had rain, which is fine, but we've had some pretty bad wind. And I told you about the last time we had wind. Well, I didn't anticipate that we would have 75-mile-per-hour winds, which we did. Terrible, terrible winds. So some things have been delayed or set back a little bit in the garden. So we had a lot of heat leading up to the big storm, and my cabbages, several of the ones that were in these beds, bolted. And I tried to keep them tarped, I tried to keep them watered, but then the day of the storm, it blew off the tarp and there's just nothing I could really do. Another thing that happened was this, which was staked into the ground, was blown over sideways. And so right now I have a little makeshift support to try to preserve my peas there. Yeah. I've got some random sticks and leaves blown in here. Really not that bad, and I attribute that to the fact that I have this barrier going across the garden. About half of the mulch I had on my corn blew over here into a corner. That was the tarp that I was using, and it kind of got destroyed and I haven't thrown it away yet. So we had a storm blow through. We had 75-mile-per-hour winds, and we were pretty lucky. We had a big large branch fall down on our house. No damage to the house, but it was a lot of work. Luckily my brother came up and helped Eric get it all sawed up and cleaned up and thrown into that pile, and you can see the house looks great. Right there is a stack of trees and limbs and things that blew from the house. Overall though, I was pretty happy with the lattice. I think if the winds had been 40 miles per hour or 50 miles per hour, things would have fared a little bit better. Most everything did okay though. I haven't replanted cucumbers yet, so I'm gonna have to do that here soon. I did lose one tomato plant over there. Wow. And I also lost my okra. But I just ordered a new variety, which is supposed to take only like 30 to 40 days, so I'm excited about that. It's a purple variety. Also note how desperately I need to cultivate the garden. And I did lose a patty pan squash. It's kind of out here on the fringes of the garden and lost, which is interesting because all the other squash plants did fine. You can tell by my peppers over here I need to water. Even my fragile tomatillos sustained some damage, but they're all still alive. So, like I said, I think that fence, that lattice, while it's not exactly beautifully done right now, is working like I wanted it to. Prior to the storm, I was prepping the pumpkin patch, as I call it. I had laid out the hose, I had tilled up, added some amendments, and then I knew that the storm was coming, or some kind of storm was coming, so I thought, well, I'll hold off and see what happens. And I'm really glad I did, because even though I had this hose pinned down, I don't know if you can see, it kind of got picked up and blown over that way. So my garden tour is a little bit of a before, one of those before and after stories. There's some hope in the garden, let me show you. I have green beans coming on earlier than I thought even. These are my bush variety. I have pole variety also. Of course, the radishes usually do well no matter what you do. I do notice I have some bug damage on the greens, so I might try spraying some neem oil or something on them, but they're doing well. And here are some more plants that I have to put out. These are mostly my pumpkin and squash type plants. I do have some more pepper plants, a couple of cucumber plants, as well as my paste tomatoes that I'm going to be putting in. And I think I'm going to try growing some of my tomatoes in like a container, which I did last year successfully, and so I'll probably just do that again. And then inside we have a lot of green happening. Got lettuces that I'll be harvesting for my CSA this week. Also got microgreens growing galore, peas, wheatgrass, radish. That down there is actually a spinach. It's not a microgreen, but will be offered to my CSA later, as well as some red salad bowl lettuce. This is some kind of Asian green, Tokyo or something like that. A lettuce that's growing quite nicely since I moved it out into its own little containers. This tangle of cords and stuff. I hope to eventually clean it up and get it a little more organized. Main thing is, I know where everything goes. Look at all the strawberries coming on. These plants I got as bare root just this year. Got them in a little bit late, but I think they're gonna be awesome. Oh, hello baby zucchini. So as you can see, the garden's a little bit of a mess. It's one of those before and after makeover stories, and I've got some cultivating to do, some mulching to do, some planting to do, and for me the weather's supposed to be great this week. Upper 70s, low 80s, mild relatively wind for us, and lots of sunshine. If you had told me, can you hear my goat? She's so loud. She sees me out here and she has to baa the whole time I'm out here. Anyway, if you had told me 5, 10, 15 years ago that I would be nerding out over garden tools, I would have thought you were nuts. But I am. I got this made in Japan. I can't remember what it's called. I saw it on one of my YouTube channels that I watch. Art and Bree, they're little homesteaders, and I'm excited to go try and cultivate between my plants. So I'm excited about that. I also took some time to fertilize the plants using organic fish guts, as I call it to my kids, fish emulsion. Mix it with water and spray it on my plants.